Hi, I'm Jan Idy and welcome back to my kitchen. And if you've been watching my main dish videos for this week, then you know that you're actually the one who's in the kitchen and I'm on the family room side of the center island. This day has been absolutely crazy. I'm trying to get in 6 main dishes and we have our wonderful friends. There are 9 of them out on the patio and they've graciously offered to assist. And the way they're assisting is they're eating the food as it's being prepared because we do not have this kind of storage for leftovers in our refrigerator. This dish that I'm about to describe to you, I think is going to be my winner. I wanted to come up with a really special and innovative way to showcase Philadelphia cream cheese. And I am crazy for lasagna. I love to have my girlfriends over for our ladies who luncheons. And this idea takes the cheese mixture that normally goes into the lasagna layers and places it into little crepes. They're baked in the oven and then they're topped and, well, actually they're centered by a bolognese sauce. So our star Philadelphia cream cheese is just shining with your typical ingredients for the lasagna cheese mixture with the ricotta cheese and of course our Kraft Parmesan cheese. And then what I've done is I went to the grocer and I got ready-made crepes. It's you certainly can make them yourself, but why do so when it's this easy? And now all I'm doing is putting in a very generous, about 1/3 of a cup of our Philadelphia cream cheese mixture into the center of the crepe, and then we just fold it the long way and then fold up the ends. And we want to leave a little bit of room on each end for expansion. And now I'm going to flip this over onto my pan. And you'll notice I already have 5 others done. And I did put down parchment paper on the pan just to make it just a little bit easier to remove them when they're done. I'm going to put them in the oven and we'll, after they've been in for a little bit of time, I suppose about 10 minutes before they're ready to be done, we're going to top them with Parmesan cheese and mozzarella and just pop them back in for a few more minutes to get nice and bubbly, and we'll see you when they come out. Well, our little crepe lasagnas are ready for the next step. We're just going to add a little sprinkling of our Kraft Parmesan, Romano, and Asiago cheeses, and it's not much. I would say maybe just a 1/4 to a 1/2 teaspoon on each one. I've already done the others, and now we'll top it with a little bit of our Kraft mozzarella cheese. And again, we don't need too much, but you can be as generous as you'd like. And then what I'm going to do is we're going to put them back in the oven for just a few moments at the 350 to melt the cheese, and we'll see you when they come out to plate them. Our little lasagna crepes are out of the oven and the aroma is fantastic. It's going to be very simple to plate it up. What I would suggest you do is put a couple of tablespoons on the bottom and spread that out, and then we'll pick up one of our little crepes and place it on top, and then just a couple more tablespoons across the top. And certainly if you'd want to pass around Parmesan or mozzarella to top this, you may. However, I think it's perfect just the way it is. I wanted to tell you about my bolognese sauce, and the recipe that I've included with this, my little lasagna crepes, is for a homemade sauce, and it's a quick one. What I do is I use diced tomatoes and I add a few tablespoons of sugar. I grew up in a household where my folks had a tomato patch in the backyard, and as a little girl I used to eat the tomatoes right out of the garden just like they were apples, and they were so sweet. And unless you've had a tomato grown right out of your backyard or someone's backyard that you know, you have never tasted the sweetness that a tomato actually has. So there's no canned tomato, there's no hydroponic tomato that can duplicate that. So that's why I always add a few tablespoons of sugar to my sauce. The other thing that I'm doing to make the sauce go a little bit faster is I don't add chicken broth to the sauce. I add either chicken paste or a bouillon, and that eliminates the cooking down time. And I also use a very wide container for the sauce, larger than you normally would. With all the surface area, it cooks a lot faster. So you certainly could cheat and use your favorite jar sauce with this. If you use a jar sauce, you're going to have this ready and on the table in less than 30 minutes. I'm going to take a little taste, and I'm so excited. I love this stuff. That is so good. This is going to be perfect for any lady who lunches. So have your girlfriends over and make this. Include a little salad and some French bread. It's to die for. I'd like to thank Paula Dean and my wonderful folks at Kraft and the Real Women of Philadelphia, my dear friends. Thanks for stopping by, and I hope you'll try this. I think it's a winner.